Russia shocked the world by revealing a 6th-generation interceptor that achieves sustained hypersonic flight at Mach 4.3 through ramjet turbojet hybrid propulsion and operates at the edge of space. The Russian Aerospace Defense Forces, the operational command authority for this platform, immediately elevated it to strategic priority. Military analysts panicked. Social media exploded. NATO radar stations logged an anomaly they couldn't even classify. But here's what they didn't know. Yet, while Russia was parading the MiG-41 in front of cameras, America had already been secretly building its answer, the F-47, for over 5 years. And what's inside that aircraft makes Russia's best look like a Cold War relic. Welcome to Steel Falcons, where we uncover the truth behind the world's most powerful military machines. What you're about to learn about America's response to Russia's hypersonic threat will change how you see the future of air combat forever. This isn't just another interceptor announcement. The MiG-41 represents Russia's boldest attempt to leapfrog American air superiority in a single generation. Designed under the classified PAK-DP program since 2018, this aircraft was built to do things no manned fighter has ever done. Intercept hypersonic missiles traveling at Mach 9, counter stealth fighters like the F-35, and achieve low Earth orbit intercept capability to destroy satellites. Where Russia is betting its entire air defense doctrine on speed and altitude over everything else. As of November 2025, prototype flight testing had begun, making this not theoretical, but actively flying hardware. The Pentagon noticed. And the capabilities America developed in response will leave you speechless. If you're proud of American military innovation and want to see our forces stay ahead of every enemy, type "proud" in the comments below. Let us know you support our brave men and women in uniform. Let me take you back to 2018, when most of the world had no idea what Russia was quietly building in its most classified hangars. Russia's United Aircraft Corporation launched the PAK-DP program in 2018, resurrecting Cold War-era high-speed interceptor research that had been shelved since the collapse of the Soviet Union. The MiG-41 traces its lineage back to Soviet-era high-speed interceptor research from the 1980s. So when engineers first envisioned aircraft that could operate at the boundary between atmosphere and space. When the Soviet Union collapsed, those programs were shelved, but the design concepts survived in classified archives. Russian aerospace engineers revisited that Cold War research in 2018, adapting those principles to modern materials and propulsion technology. The mission was staggering. Build a replacement for the aging MiG-31 Foxhound fleet that has defended Russian airspace under Russian Air Force Command since 1981. But this wasn't going to be an incremental upgrade. This was a generational leap. Mikoyan, the legendary design bureau behind the MiG-15, MiG-21, and MiG-29, led development. Wind tunnel testing wrapped up in late 2019. Rostec confirmed that the aircraft had already passed more than 200 different tests. The program entered formal development in January 2021. By September 16, 2025, retired Russian Air Force Commander Vladimir Popov, speaking on behalf of Aerospace Defense Forces Operational Command, publicly confirmed the aircraft's external design phase was complete, and reports by November 2025 indicated prototype flight testing had begun. Think about that for a moment. In just 7 years, Russia went from concept to prototype of a 6th-generation interceptor. That's like building a space shuttle in your garage while the world thinks you're assembling furniture. But here's what makes this program truly alarming for NATO. The MiG-41 wasn't designed to fight. It was designed to do something far more dangerous. What comes next reveals the engineering that has Pentagon analysts losing sleep. Here's where the MiG-41 becomes truly revolutionary and genuinely terrifying for anyone flying against it. The MiG-41 measures approximately 25 meters in length with a 22-meter wingspan and stands 6.5 meters tall. Empty weight sits near 50,000 kilograms. Maximum takeoff weight reaches 100,000 kilograms, making it significantly larger and heavier than the MiG-31 it replaces. To put that in perspective, This interceptor weighs more than a fully loaded commercial Boeing 737. Under the hood, it features Isdelier 30-derived hybrid turbojet-ramjet engines with sustained ramjet cruise mode above Mach 3. Get extensively modified for sustained hypersonic cruise. This combined cycle propulsion system transitions seamlessly from turbojet mode at lower speeds to ramjet mode above Mach 3, pushing the aircraft to a claimed maximum speed of Mach 4.3, roughly 5,270 kilometers per hour. That's faster than a bullet from most sniper rifles. No other manned fighter in history has achieved this combination of speed and operational ceiling. Via these power plants deliver extraordinary thrust while maintaining fuel efficiency at extreme altitudes where air density drops to nearly zero. The aircraft reaches altitudes above 25 kilometers and potentially pushes beyond 30 kilometers into near space, a domain where the atmosphere thins so dramatically that conventional fighters lose control authority and simply fall out of the sky. Russian test pilot Anatoly Kvoshur stated publicly that the aircraft's design prioritizes extreme velocity and high-altitude endurance over traditional dogfighting agility. The airframe uses heat-resistant titanium composite layers with integrated cooling channels that actively manage the 600 °C surface temperatures generated at Mach 4. At that speed, air molecules compress so violently that they would literally melt a conventional air minutes. Your range estimates place the MiG-41 at approximately 1,500 kilometers on internal fuel, with aerial refueling extending that considerably, critical for a nation spanning 11 time zones that needs to patrol vast Arctic and eastern borders from a handful of bases. But here's what critics don't want to admit. The flight control system uses fly-by-light technology, an advancement beyond traditional fly-by-wire architecture, replacing traditional copper wiring with fiber optic connections that eliminate electromagnetic interference at hypersonic speeds. This isn't theoretical engineering. This is built and tested. But raw speed means nothing without the weapons to match. And what the MiG-41 carries will rewrite the rules of air combat. Now, here's something that surprises most people. The MiG-41 isn't just fast. It's armed to the teeth with weapons NATO has never faced before. Ready for a game changer? What you're about to hear will completely change how you think about air combat forever. The MiG-41 carries R-37M hypersonic air-to-air missiles with a range exceeding 400 kilometers. To put that in perspective, that's the distance from New York City to Pittsburgh. And these missiles can engage targets at any altitude, from strategic bombers cruising at 40,000 feet to cruise missiles skimming the treetops. But the real shock is the mid-course phase ballistic missile defense capability, newly developed kinetic interceptor missiles designed specifically to destroy satellites in low Earth orbit and ballistic missiles during their vulnerable mid-course phase. That's right, this fighter jet can shoot down objects in orbit. Internal weapon bays maintain a smooth aerodynamic profile while holding a mix of short range, medium range, and precision-guided munitions, ensuring flexibility across different combat scenarios. For defense, the aircraft features next-generation electronic countermeasures and infrared decoy systems designed to defeat the most advanced air-to-air missiles in NATO's arsenal, including the AIM-120 AMRAAM. Every weapon system integrates with onboard artificial intelligence powered by quantum computing-based architecture that processes targeting data instantaneously. The cockpit is a fully digital glass environment with augmented reality displays providing real-time data overlays. Pilots control many systems through eye tracking and voice commands, reducing manual input and increasing situational awareness during high-G maneuvers at extreme altitude. The cockpit environment is pressurized and thermally shielded to maintain pilot comfort at altitudes and temperatures that would normally require a full pressure suit. But here's where it gets truly dangerous. According to defense analyst assessments published in October 2025, the MiG-41 operates as a semi-autonomous platform. It can fly certain mission profiles without constant human input and acts as a command node, coordinating unmanned combat aerial vehicles during operations. Russian military doctrine increasingly emphasizes this manned-unmanned teaming, where a single crewed fighter directs multiple drones carrying additional sensors and weapons. One pilot, multiple killer drones, all moving at Mach 4. That's not science fiction. That's Russia's plan. And then NATO discovered something in late 2025 that changed the strategic calculus entirely. What Western intelligence discovered in the fall of 2025 had every defense planner in Washington reaching for the panic button. If you're a military veteran, active service member, or someone who deeply appreciates our armed forces, we have a growing community of like-minded individuals at Steel Falcons who share your passion for military excellence. You can find more information in our description below. In late September 2025, NATO ground-based radar stations in Poland and Romania detected intermittent returns at extreme altitude, objects moving at velocities inconsistent with any known Russian aircraft. The signature appeared briefly, then vanished completely. Western analysts initially suspected drone testing or experimental unmanned systems. They were wrong. The radar cross-section didn't match any aircraft in NATO's threat library. Speed estimates ranged from Mach 3.8 to Mach 4.2. The objects appeared at altitudes between 28 and 32 kilometers, far above the operational ceiling of the Su-57 or any known Russian fighter. Electronic warfare officers noted the aircraft employed advanced radar-absorbent materials that drastically reduced its signature. When a bed above 30 kilometers, it effectively disappeared from ground-based surveillance entirely. One Pentagon officials described the platform as employing stealth shaping reminiscent of fifth-generation fighters, but optimized for high-speed flight rather than subsonic penetration. Heat emission management systems reduce infrared signature, making the aircraft harder to track with IRST sensors that NATO fighters rely on for beyond visual range engagement. Then came the revelation that altered everything. My satellite imagery analyzed by commercial intelligence firms showed new hardened aircraft shelters under construction at Akhtubinsk and Zhukovsky test facilities. Thermal signatures detected during night passes suggested engine testing at high power settings. The MiG-41 isn't just an interceptor, it's a strike platform. Russian engineers integrated precision strike capabilities, allowing the aircraft to penetrate contested airspace at Mach 4. Deliver guided weapons against high-value targets like AWACS early warning aircraft or aerial refueling tankers, and exit the battle space before air defenses can even react. Retired USAF Colonel Michael Pietrusha, writing for War on the Rocks, warned that even a limited number of MiG-41s would create significant challenges for NATO, because the aircraft operates above the effective engagement envelope of many NATO surface-to-air missile systems. Or try imagining a fighter jet that flies too high and too fast for your best anti-aircraft missiles to reach. That's the nightmare keeping NATO planners up at night. But here's what will absolutely amaze you about American ingenuity. And our enemies definitely don't want you to know this next part. Because while Russia was building the MiG-41, America wasn't sitting idle. Not even close. Wait, here's where the story gets interesting. Because America's answer to the MiG-41 might just be the most dominant fighting machine ever conceived. While Russia was developing the MiG-41, the Pentagon was quietly advancing the Next Generation Air Dominance program, known as NGAD, and they were already years ahead. On September 14, 2020, the U.S. Air Force dropped a bombshell, confirming it had already designed, built, and flown at least one prototype of its next-generation fighter. Let that sink in. America had a flying sixth-generation prototype 5 years before Russia even completed the MiG-41's external design phase. On March 21, 2025, the winner was officially revealed, the Boeing F-47. As of February 2026, Air Force acquisition officials confirmed the F-47 exceptionally well and remains on track for first flight by 2028. While exact specifications remain classified, the program prioritizes speed, extreme range, advanced sensor fusion, and manned-unmanned teaming. The same capabilities Russia is scrambling to achieve with the MiG-41, except America got there first and is building it at industrial scale. The United States is also developing directed energy weapons and hypersonic air-to-air missiles specifically designed to neutralize threats operating at the extreme altitudes and speeds the MiG-41 depends on. Now here's the part Russia doesn't want to hear. While the MiG-41 remains in prototype testing, with optimistic deployment estimates of the late 2020s or early 2030s, Russia's track record tells a different story. The Su-57 program took years longer than originally planned to reach operational status. International sanctions are crippling Russia's access to advanced semiconductors and composite materials essential for sixth-generation production. And most analysts believe Russia can produce only 30 to 50 MiG-41s at best, equipping 1 or 2 elite regiments. America, meanwhile, has the industrial capacity, the $886 billion defense budget, and the technology base to outproduce and outperform, just like it always has. Japan is developing the FX 6th generation fighter with Mitsubishi Heavy Industries. Europe has the GCAP program. While Russia bets everything on one interceptor, it may struggle to mass produce. Just America and its allies are building an entire ecosystem of 6th generation dominance. The MiG-41 is fast. The MiG-41 is impressive. But America was already 5 steps ahead before Russia even knew the race had started. And that brings us to the bottom line. Why this matters for every American who values freedom. The MiG-41 is a wake-up call, not a death sentence. America has faced every generation of threat the world has thrown at us. And every single time, American innovation, yes, American engineering, and American determination have risen to the challenge and dominated. The F-47 isn't just a fighter, it's a promise that no adversary will ever own the skies above the free world. If this content opened your eyes to the real 6th generation air race, hit that like button and subscribe to Steel Falcons for more incredible stories about the machines that keep America safe. Drop a comment below. Do you think the MiG-41 will actually enter operational service? Right? Or will Russia's production challenges and sanctions kill the program before it ever gets off the ground? Until next time, this is Steel Falcons, where American air power never takes a back seat. Keep looking up.